All right, I just want to talk about brainstorming for a second. This is probably not going to be the highest quality video ever. I will try to not make it take very long though, because this could just, be me rambling for a half hour and nobody wants that. So let's take a look at brainstorming specifically for the deconstruction assignment. Honestly, this could work for any brainstorming, but that's what I'm going to be working with. So the idea is to come up with a thing that you identify its parts, right? So, well, I'm just going to get on with the brainstorming instead of trying to explain everything. What are some things that you would recognize the parts of? Whether it's tools, pieces. How about we start with gardening? It has a lot of identifiable aspects to it. Nursing, I think you could get a lot of things. It wouldn't even have to be nursing. And again, these are thoughts. Write them down. Don't skip over things. If it's in your head, you're working it out in your head, get it down. It wouldn't have to just be nursing. It could be medical fields in general. Cars, that could include, of course, trucks, etc. What else has easily identifiable parts? Regardless of the whole, we recognize the parts of them. How about old stereo equipment? Let's see, what else? Oh, this just popped into my head. My wife has been sewing some things recently. Art supplies. Oh my gosh, this is the cliche one. Everybody, especially because of this being an art class, everybody thinks this one. So that is one we would probably want to avoid if we can. This just popped into my head because somebody else brought it up once. Lego. Except the thing is here, you already, parentheses again, already used to construct. And so it's kind of not really valid. In fact, I might even just say invalid. It's already a tool. It's already a toy that you use to build other things. It kind of bypasses the whole aspect of this assignment where you're deconstructing something to make something else. We don't have to deconstruct anything here. We're just constructing something. What about stamps? Stamps with different visual things on them. That could be interesting. I'd have to think about that more. Or how about if we just say stamps, aka office supplies. Let's see, what are some other things? Even as I am looking around my space, of course my space is full of art supplies, so it's a little bit hard to go beyond that. An important thing here, this isn't the brainstorming specifically, if you're you should not be here. We should not be listening watching, etc. Anything entertaining. You're not going to have a flow of ideas if you're being entertained by something else. Be bored for 10 minutes. If you're not bored, your mind is just in passive mode. You need to be engaging your brain. So no listening, no watching, no entertainment of any sort. Find a quiet space, shut everything else out for a second, and let the ideas start flowing. What else? What's another thing or two? How about just simply tools? That just led me to hardware in general. That would be things like screws. In fact, let's write this down. Don't let these things just be said out loud or in your head. Get them on paper. This could be screws, nails, washers, hinges. There are so many hardware things possible. Alright, this is our main list. Let's leave it at that for right now. Give it enough time. This could fill up all of my page and then some. Let's step back. Let's focus on gardening for a second. There are trowels, shovels, seed packets. There are, oh gosh, the plants could be part of this. So this is such a broad thing. Plants, a hose, a sprayer. There's all kinds of sprayer things. Of course, a lot of that starts with literally the, oh god, how do you spell faucet? I don't know. The faucet. So think in terms of that. What we're doing here, here's our main list. Over here, we're starting to break it down into these identifiable parts. Let's jump ahead for a second. Sewing, we've got bobbins. I think those are the little tiny ones, right? Bobbins, thread, needles, oh my gosh. Okay, see, sewing might not be a good one for me because I hit a roadblock or a bump in the road quite quickly. I don't want to do art supplies, it's so cliche, but really I should break every one of these down into all kinds of parts that I can think of. Right? Hardware, we started. Hardware could be lots of fun. There could be, screws, nails, washers, hinges, brackets. Of course, there's many types of screws. We could even write that. Many types of screws. There are eye bolts. There are nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to just do this as quickly as I can, so this isn't a super long video, but go back to each of these things you came up with and break them down into recognizable parts. If, like the one for sewing, you're not getting very many parts, that might not be the best one to go with. So sewing for me would be a nope. Old stereo equipment, of course we would write these things down here. let's go down here for old stereo equipment. What do I mean by that? Old stereo equipment has a very particular look. Even from brand to brand, doesn't matter too much. There's various knobs, buttons. If you're of a certain age, you'll recognize, of course, the tape deck. You might recognize the wheels or reels with an A. I don't know. Inside, you might recognize the, well, we could literally just use records, tapes, 8 tracks. There's a thing for 45 records. That's a center insert. Looks like a 3-headed snake. Whoops, I can't smell snake all of a sudden. Can't even see the word. If we really go back, there might be tubes inside the equipment instead of, you know, oh, what is it called? Jeez, my brain. Radio tubes versus transistors. There it is. Or we could even have transistors. Oh gosh, the radio dial on a receiver, right? The little, you know, you tune in the radio station. Man, that's a thing of the past even at this point. Oops. What else? If we go back to tools, we'll just want to list a whole bunch of tools. Ultimately, you've started with these list of things. You're breaking these things down into identifiable parts. You're coming up with the ones that will have the most parts that you think you could work with. Now you really got to start thinking about what is it you're going to make with parts. Don't settle on one of these specifically yet. Let's think, what are we going to make? Are we going to make a person? Are we going to make an animal? Are we going to make a, I don't know why this popped into my head, but write it down, right? A sailing ship. Are we going to make a, ooh, how about a dragon out of some kind of weird parts? A dragon, or I want to even say just mythical creature. Let's see, what else could we make? It could be funny to make a car out of hardware. So you can have the same things listed again. These are my what to make items. A car of some sort, or more general yet, some sort of transportation. Of course, we're not going to break down a car and make a car. That's ridiculous. Break down something else to make a car, or break down a car to make other things. I'm not convinced breaking a car down will give us much of anything. It might, I don't know. What to make though? There are, again, just popped into my head, this might be sort of cliche as well, especially if we go with, where are we? Gardening. If you look it up, there are a whole lot of paintings of people made of vegetables. This was a thing for a while. Don't ask me where that came from, but you can find a number of famous paintings of portraits, and their noses are carrots and their eyeballs are, I don't know, radishes, all kinds of weird stuff. There's a bunch of things like that. What to make? What else would we want to make? I've hit a roadblock. Let's just say we go with a person for a second. This is my chosen item I'm going to make. We're still brainstorming. If I was using old stereo equipment to make a person, let's see, what would that person look like? This is going to be a really rough sketch. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm off the screen. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's do this. You've missed half of what I've been, well, not half. You've missed some of what I've been saying, at least the visual parts of it. Let's fold that down. All right, let's do a person out of old radio parts. I'm gonna make this quick. This just popped into my head. This isn't even really a thumbnail yet. I'm testing to see how possible this is. This is just a test. There's maybe a volume knob. There's some eyes made out of radio tubes. There's a mouth. Here we could have little transistors and various other solid state things that would be part of the circuit board. Oh, they don't all need to be the same. Some could be weird little round cylinders and stuff, just like you see. Let's see, what else? Does he need light cheeks, or she? Maybe the cheeks are a very light version of a tape deck. So we're just testing the waters, so to speak. Apparently they have a mustache because we've got tape going reel to reel, or that could even emphasize their upper lip. All kinds of possibilities there. Let's see what else. Kind of looks like a clown a little bit. Oh, using radio parts. Ears. Oh, their ears could be buttons, as in there's the start button, there's a pause button. Alrighty, so I think we could make a person out of old radio equipment parts. I don't think that would be a problem. And of course we're going to do more than just a head. We would probably want a body. Maybe they're doing something fun. Let's try one more thing just to show what else did we have. Okay, we've got, I did stamps, AK office supplies. Let's go with the hardware. I've got a lot of stuff for hardware right now. Remember, I would tackle these other ones as well. I'm just trying to hurry along right now. Hardware, screws, nails, washers, hinges, brackets, many types of screws, Whoops, I wrote many types of screes. Don't know what screes are. Eye bolts, nuts, and bolts. All right, let's do one more person. Can we do a person made out of hardware parts? This one's probably even easier, but there might be a couple washers. To make it look even better, I might really try to emphasize the three-dimensionality of my parts. Whoops, this is really not high quality stuff right now. There's a couple of washers held in place by some screws with a Phillips head. There's some kind of a nail for eyebrows. What's a fun piece of hardware for the nose? Let's skip the nose for a second. What shape is the nose? Oh, I know. We have an L bracket for the nose. A little weird, but that's okay. Teeth could be more brackets? No, that just seems lazy. I've already got a bracket in place. What could the teeth be? Hardware. Hinges for ears. I'm only seeing part of this ear, right? Got him looking off to the side slightly. Yep, hinges for ears. Oh, what are my teeth? Why can't I come up with teeth? All right, well, I will get back to that, or maybe it's not meant to be. I'm not sure. But there we've got the start of two things. That's me just running through a bunch of stuff really quick. There's a face. If I was going to use parts of old radio equipment, there's a face if I was going to use hardware. Although, again, the teeth are questionable. I'm not sure what I want to do for teeth. So yeah, the whole idea is get yourself a list of things. Break down each of those things. Get your thoughts on paper. Nothing that pops into your head is a bad thing to get on paper. We're not trying for the best of ideas. We're just trying for ideas. So get it all down. Honestly, I would, even if I'm not liking these, I would still try to break down sewing. Look up, if you're like me and you've never really done any sewing, look up sewing supplies or something and find out what's all there. You might challenge yourself to create something out of sewing supplies that you would have never thought of before. Again, art supplies is really cliche. How can we get past that? Even if we break this down into parts, brushes, tubes of paints, pencils, one of those small sharpeners, etc. I could go on and on about art supplies. How could I make this so different compared to what other people might come up with that it's no longer the cliche or easy option? And the Lego, I would just say nope to start with, because again, you're kind of breaking the assignment from the standpoint that we need to deconstruct something, and Legos by their very nature are already deconstructed. So this one, I would literally say that it's invalid. The office supply one could be really interesting. The stamps beginning of it, if you've got access to a lot of old stamps or something, or feel like looking up stamps, there's a lot of different imagery on stamps. The kind of thing you could put together via just what's on stamps could be really fun. It also might take a heck of a lot more delving into what's really out there versus, you know, coming up with a bunch of this stuff off the top of your head. Tools, there's so many tools possible that we could make a huge list of that. We could make some very interesting odd things in the whole realm of tools. But yeah, this is all about getting ideas out of your head and onto paper. If you don't get them on paper, so forget about this being an assignment for a second. If you don't get your ideas out on paper, you miss out on a lot. Most people are capable. Studies show, what is it? You can hold like 5 numbers or thoughts in your head for a brief amount of time. So I have ADHD. I can hold one solid idea in my head at a time. That's all I got. That's my capacity. If I don't get stuff down on paper, and even if you don't have ADD or ADHD, whatever the hell you want to call it, you're not holding enough worthwhile information in your head in any given time. You will lose good ideas. You're not going to keep this list in your head as you're working. There's just no way. And so if you don't get them down on paper, who knows what you have missed out on. So get it down on paper. That is your brainstorming. That's part of your assignment anyway. So I hope that helps. Let's do one more little thing really quick. So this is, let's just say this is my favorite idea. I want to take old stereo equipment and I want to create a person out of the parts. And so this and the list in the previous pages are what I then take to the thumbnail stage. So let's look at thumbnailing real quick. There's a thing that a lot of students they go off track with the thumbnailing. Our thumbnailing for this project now is person, audio, geez, I can't spell. All right, that's gonna drive me insane. I'm erasing that really quick. Person and audio equipment parts. That's what I am thumbnailing. I'm not thumbnailing anything about gardening. I'm not thumbnailing anything This guy made out of hardware is not getting any of the thumbnails. At this point, it is all about a person made of audio equipment parts. So I think I am requiring at least 5. So let's even just split this up into, well, we're getting 6, but these are going to be my thumbnail sketches. I don't need a whole bunch of parts in here now. I know I'm going to be doing things out of these parts. What do I want to show? I could go back to the brainstorming, and let's just say this is brainstorming right here. What do I want to create? Do I just want a portrait? Do I want a scene? If I have a scene, and if there's just a portrait, what is the portrait? Is it a particular someone? Am I trying to show something specific? If I'm creating a scene, what's going to be in the scene? A person, we know there's going to be a person. A person, how about a picnic? What I would do is I would make a whole list of potential scenes. A picnic, barbecue with friends, biking through the country, could be flying a kite. What do you want your person to be doing? Brainstorm this as well. Don't try to brainstorm in your thumbnails. Get your brainstorming done in your brainstorming section. I want to do a picnic. So my person made of audio equipment parts is going to be sitting having a picnic. There's the picnic basket. Sorry, these are going to be really sloppy. There's my person kind of off to the side. One arm's kind of holding them up. Apparently he's posing for a magazine or something. It's kind of a weird pose, but again, here's his picnic basket. Maybe there's a tree over here. Right? All right. There's one potential picnic scene. How about another scene? He's sitting on a log. And there's the picnic basket, probably partially off the scene. There's the handle. It's made out of wicker. I'm not going to worry about getting that perfect right now. He's even got, there's a sandwich. That's not a gun. Looks like a gun, sorry. I even put an olive with a toothpick through it in a sandwich. There we go. So he's sitting on a log. Maybe there's a romantic other person sitting over here smiling as well. I would make them out of the same types of parts. They don't have to be exactly the same. This is not a great scene. I've squished this person off to the side. I could redo that and try to get them in here better. They're, you know, whatever they're eating. There's the burger or a sandwich, and this person's holding up a drink. Oh, it turned into a cone. I was going to say a drink. Apparently they're having a cone. an ice cream cone or something. And of course they're made of audio equipment parts. And here's the basket off to the side. Doesn't quite look like a picnic per se, sitting kind of more like they're out camping. In that case, we can get a picnic blanket down first. There they are on the picnic blanket, and their friend or whomever is maybe sitting cross-legged, and there, you know, here's the picnic basket behind them. There's clouds in the sky, sun. There's a tree over here or something as well. I mean, since it's a picnic, we've got the picnic blanket now. So we can even make it checkered or whatever if we want. What's another? What if we have an ant view of their picnic? They look like giants to this ant, and it's this weird perspective. They're hanging out and sitting low to the ground. This one's got his drink or cone or whatever, and this one's got, I don't know what he's eating. Again, that one's also on the picnic blanket. So in the thumbnail sketches, you're going with your singular choice. Well, it's a few choices have been made, right? We've got 3 choices. We're making a person out of audio equipment parts, and they're having, or at least somebody's having, a picnic. So those are 3 things we've decided, and those are the 3 things we need to decide how to show via thumbnail sketches. And the thumbnail sketch you end up liking the most, that is what you turn into your final drawing.